We're going to be talking about the standing band low rows. And it's standing band low rows because they'll be using a resistance band. You can use large resistance loops, you can use resistance tubes, you can use cable pulleys, you know, whichever one. You can even use dumbbells for the low rows, for the bent over low rows. It's a pulling type exercise, so it targets primarily the muscle, the large latissimus dorsi of your mid to lower back area. And also indirectly targets your biceps, your posterior delts, and the other muscles of the back, right? So, but primarily it targets the latissimus dorsi from a different angle, of course. Now, again, whenever you're doing any exercise of the, you know, in a standing position, any exercise in a standing position, you want to make sure that the shoulders are back and down. Try not to shrug the shoulders, try not to keep them rounded like that. You want to keep them back and down. You want to make sure that the feet are about shoulder width apart. The knees slightly bent, or soften them a little bit. Just keep them slightly bent in there. Body nice and upright, chest up, and neck in a neutral position, right? That's a typical position for any exercise that you're doing in standing position, right? For the most part. Now, as it relates to the low rows, you want to anchor the band around a stable area, right? A pole, a grill of some sort, something that is sturdy and stable that won't topple over with you whenever you perform the exercise, when you start to pull on the exercise or pull on the band. All right. Now, for this one here, this is a low row. You have upright row, which is this way. You have high rows that way, and you have low rows. Depending on the position of the elbow, that will determine in terms of what type of row it is. If the elbow is tucked into the side, it's a low row. If the elbow is out and away from the body about 90 degrees or 45 degrees, a high row. It targets different muscles. So the position of the elbow helps in terms of targeting different muscle groups that you want to target. All right. If it is pulling up this way, that works primarily the mid fibers or the deltoids, as well as the traps, the upper fibers or the traps, as an upright row. Okay. But now we'll be talking about the low row. All right. So with regards to the low row, you're going to the position, and as well also, you want to make sure that you keep your core tight. Brace your core, keep it nice and tight, keep it firm while you perform this exercise. So you start in position with your hands out in front of you, and you're going to pull back. Pull back, right? As you pull back, allow the elbows to lead. So you drive the elbows back. Keep the elbows tucked in. Don't do this. You're working your biceps, you know, bicep. You're not doing bicep curls. You're not doing triceps extension. You're just pulling back this way, okay? Make sure as you pull back, the forearm is about parallel to the floor, or that the wrist or the hand is about by your midsection, the side aspect of your midsection, okay? So keep your head steady, looking ahead of you, and you're going to go ahead and pull back. Take your time, control the breathing, and again, this exercise works the latissimus dorsi. Pull back. You can use one hand if you want, or two hands. Any variation is fine. You can sit down and do the same exercise, or you can bend forward, have the ankle a little bit lower, bend forward and pull up this way. But the position of the elbow remains the same. Irrespective of the position of the band could be down, the band could be at the level of your stomach. That's the next thing. When you're doing the low rows, you want to make sure that the band is at the level of the stomach. If you're doing a high row, you want to make sure the band is at the level of your shoulders or the level of the chest. So you have that proper pull. If it's the low row, you put the band at the level of your stomach and pull this way, right? So again, lead with the elbows, make sure the forearms are about parallel to the floor, or that the wrist and hand are about the level of your midsection, okay? Position the band at the level of your stomach. Keep the knees slightly bent, feet shoulder width apart, head looking ahead of you, chest up, and pull. Standing band low rows. This works the latissimus dorsi. Blessings.